Hey guys out in Facebook land, hang on a second. We're going live in about a minute or so. So we're gonna have fun. We haven't been on in a while. We got Canito here. See if we can get him up there. We're gonna give shout outs to all our friends out in Facebook land. A little tired here. Been on the road. I just came back from Jersey. I'm gonna talk about a lot of things. Toxic people, good dogs and toxic people. I'm just sending Kelsey a little message out there in Detroit, advising her to grab a bottle of wine or a crack pipe to get through this episode. Yeah, so we're going to go live. We got a lot to talk about on Thanksgiving show. We have the lovely Danielle Janace. Nice.
Yeah, getting better.
Canito from Puerto Rico. We're at the airport here. It's crazy busy. This holiday season is upon us, so to speak. We got a lot to talk about. So we're going to say hello to a lot of our friends out there in the franchise world. Danielle and I have been up bouncing around training in Pittsburgh, in Detroit. Where else have we been? That's it? Garden City.
Garden City.
Yeah, so we're excited. So stay with us. Stay with us during the break. We'll take Canito for a little walk around just to show you how consistency in dog training, consistency in dog behavior makes all the difference in the world. Socialization, structure, consistency, and leadership. And you'll see how well he's chilling out over here. He's just, he's a good boy. He'll probably he'll stay there for a few minutes and he'll be sniffing around. But basically he's being good. We got 5 seconds.
In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to the Dish on Dogs. I am your host, Mike Gould, affectionately known as the Mayor of Houndstown, USA, home to the absolute happiest dogs on earth. The Dish on Dogs. What is the Dish on Dogs? It's a show that talks about dogs and humans and how humans and dogs interact and how sometimes there's this big gap of human behavior versus dog behavior. Joining me is the lovely Danielle Janace. I've gone through a lot of co-hosts. I've gone through 2 or 3 co-hosts, and now this poor kid is subjected to this. And we have our rescue dog from Puerto Rico, Canito. We'll talk about Canito later, how he ended up here being a co-host on what is it, a radio show? It's a radio show. Okay. We're sitting here. We're at MacArthur Airport. We broadcast this live. And we're in a little bubble here. It's the holiday season, so people coming and going. So we have a lot to talk about. So grab your wine, whatever substance of your choice to get through this next hour. If you stick with us during our 7-minute break, we'll take Canito for a little walk around the airport just to show you how a dog can be balanced through consistency and leadership. So the Dish on Dogs, it's a show about dogs. Houndstown, for those of you who don't know, is a fully interactive pet care franchise where we have now, I think we have 30 territories or 30 locations throughout the United States. Happy to announce we're awarded a territory in Las Vegas. So everybody's excited about that. Yeah. Danielle and I came back from Pittsburgh. We were out Pittsburgh, Detroit doing training. Let's give a shout out to all our friends in Detroit. We have our friend Madeline,
Kelsey,
Rose, Hope, Kristen and Pete. Right, we got to remember that. We got to remember Kristen and Pete. That's everybody. Daryl. What about our man Daryl? We can't forget Daryl. He's the backbone of that place. He keeps everybody in line there. Pittsburgh, we have Joe, Cody, Sam, Megan, Lauren, Mike, and Lucy. Down in AC, I just drove up from AC. It was horrible. The drive was up. The people down there was nice. We did some training with our staff members: Sarah, Vicky, Devin, Carly. Who else? I missed somebody. And Haley. No, I didn't miss Haley. Yeah. Megan. Did I say Megan?
I don't know.
Oh boy, yeah, Megan. All right. So that was that. That's a shout out to all our friends in our franchises. There's many, many more. But I didn't turn my phone off. Oh, I'm getting a text from my friend Tom Sullivan. His mother Joan is listening. He just texted me some information about something in Las Vegas. Huh. All right, very interesting. Tom Sullivan, I appreciate that. So yeah, so we got Canito here with us. Canito is a rescue dog. At some part of this show, we're going to talk about rescue dogs and really how the Christmas season or the holiday season actually is very toxic for dogs. So there's always going to be sick dogs. They're going to get into things they shouldn't get into. There's going to be all kinds of problems. There's going to be a tree that pops up in a lot of people's living rooms that the dog is going to pee on, chew on, knock down. There's going to be balls hanging from the tree. The dog is going to think it's their tennis ball, so they're going to jump and grab the tennis balls, and people are going to scream and yell and put the dog in its crate and hit it over the head with a newspaper, because many of our listeners are toxic human beings, not intentionally. Speaking of toxic, one of the real things I got to talk about today, Danielle, is pissing me off is Yelp. These lunatics on Yelp.
Yeah.
There is a segment of our society that I don't know the psychological problem. Well, I do. They don't have a life, so they go to Yelp. They somehow have time to go on these websites, these social media sites, and make up actual nonsense, untrue, slanderous remarks. So we're going to talk about that. I'll save that for the last segment.
Yeah, when you get really heated.
I get really heated. Right now, I'm in a good mellow spot. I have my coffee. So the goal of this show, right? So if your dog humps, jumps, barks, chews, we're always giving advice on that. Not only do we give advice, we demonstrate. We usually, when we go on Facebook Live, we always have a dog to demonstrate what we're talking about. So today, Canito is going to be an example. He's not going to jump through rings of fire. He's going to walk around the airport very nicely, better than any emotional support dog that I ever saw. In fact, we were just walking through here and some little mutt was going ballistic, right? He started barking.
He was not happy.
He wasn't happy.
No.
And he was probably an emotional support dog.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's talk to Danielle. Danielle. So for those of you who don't know, Danielle also has this beautiful rescue dog. His name is Squirt.
Squirt, yes.
Tell us about how you got Squirt, where he came from, what his whole thing is.
I got Squirt. I found him on Pet Finder. He came all the way from Arkansas. I found him on Pet Finder. I thought he was really cute, and I decided to adopt him. He doesn't really have much of a backstory besides that his mom was a stray, and she was pregnant with the litter, and a family took the mom in and then let her have the babies, and then that's where he came from, basically.
Yeah. So Pet Finder is kind of like Match.com for
Basically,
dogs,
yeah.
right? You go on, you see a dog
You
that's
swipe,
cute.
a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, you ask him, what his sign is. Does he like mountains? Does he like rivers? Yeah. So anyway, but I really do think that a couple of things happened with Squirt. Not only you lucked out, you got a nice, beautiful. He really is.
I got very lucky.
He got very lucky, and he's got this really good temperament, and he's kind of a dog that I would describe for anybody almost. He would fit into almost anybody's any home, exactly. And that's highly unusual. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about dogs that don't fit into everyone's home, and what's the right dog for you. So people are going to be scrambling around Christmas time and probably going to make one of the worst decisions of their lives. They're going to go out, and because their 8-year-old child wants a dog, they're going to go out and get a puppy from a puppy mill and bring it home, and in 6 months from now, they'll be calling us. Some of you will be in tears. Some of you will want to bring the dog to the shelter. Some of you, so we call these Christmas puppies. So when we come back after, in the second segment, we're going to talk about Christmas puppies and how people get dogs for the wrong reasons. They don't understand the responsibilities. And we're also going to talk about doggy daycare and how dogs grow out of doggy daycare. And then we're going to talk about our little friend Canito, who's hiding behind he's getting pet by Danielle. What else are we talking about, Danielle?
Charlie. He's up for adoption.
Oh, right.
Yep. He's a regular at Houndstown, Ronkonkoma.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so Charlie, he's great. He's awesome when he comes to daycare, and he does boarding as well. He's great with the staff. He's great with the other dogs. He is looking for a new home right now. His mom wants the best home possible.
The mom's
for him.
looking for a new home, right? Or he may want.
He
might.
is, yeah.
Oh, he specifically. He
Yeah,
doesn't
Charlie.
want. Charlie the dog.
The dog is looking for a new home.
Right.
Well, the mom is.
Okay. Right. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is he probably. Okay. So Charlie.
Charlie needs a home.
And what is Charlie?
He is a 3-year-old cockapoo.
All right. So he's small.
He's very small, probably about like 15 pounds.
And how old?
3.
And the owners are looking to give him away
Yes.
to the right home. Obviously.
Yeah, to the right home. She wants it to the right home. Her career is just not allowing the amount of time for him.
Right.
And she wants the best life possible for him.
Right, and I think that's really heartwarming because here it is that this is not somebody, this is a person that loves her dog. Charlie comes to
Yeah,
daycare,
she loves him.
but sadly, because of lifestyle changes, we
Right.
get change jobs, we get relocated. So she's offering her dog up to the right family.
Yes.
So if anybody will maybe get pictures of Charlie. up on-
Yeah, we posted him on our Houndstown Ronkonkoma Facebook already, but we will after the show I'll post him on the radio.
Yeah,
page too.
okay, maybe we can get that up there on our Facebook page and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a 3-year-old dog is like perfect. First of all, Charlie probably looks like a puppy. I don't know what he looks
he's
like.
really cute. He's great with all people, kids, dogs. He's great.
All right, so there you go, people. Anybody's looking for a puppy for Christmas, this is it, Charlie.
Yep.
Nobody would know if he's 6 months old or 3 years old. So that's good. I didn't really actually Danielle explained that to me on the way here. So I don't really recall personally Charlie, but I'm sure if he comes to daycare all the time, he's well socialized.
Yes.
He doesn't get car sick. He's probably housebroken
Yeah,
to some degree.
she said he actually likes long walks and car rides. So.
Right. Sounds like my first wife. She liked long ride, and I gave her a long car ride.
Oh,
A one-way long car ride. Yeah, so Charlie likes car rides and long walks. Okay, that's touching. All right, so that's nice. Charlie will make a nice companion for somebody. All right, so we talked about that. After the break, we're going to talk about Canito, Squirt, rescue dogs, and how they sometimes adapt very well to. We have a dog down in South Jersey called Remo, and he grew out of doggy daycare down there. And for people listening don't know what that means, he didn't physically grow out of doggy daycare. He matured and psychologically grew out of doggy daycare, and that happens very frequently. Actually, it's expected, so people don't realize that. And we're going to talk about that after our break, how dogs grow out of doggy daycare. All right, stay with us. We're taking a 2-minute break, and then we'll be back. We're going to stay on Facebook Live, so I can curse a little bit. All right, see you in 2 minutes. All right. Let's see, what else could we chat about? So we're going to talk now. Which was a bad joke? Which? Jackie's saying I said a bad joke. What else is it? Which was it?
Oh, is it the giving away the dog wanting a new home? And
I guess.
That was
Which?
a bad joke.
Yeah. All right. You know, show business. You can't make everybody have to talk about Yelp. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Yelp reviews after this break. Jackie told me to move this up on the list. Then we have Thanksgiving puppies, Christmas puppies, Remo, outgrowing daycare, Yelp reviews.
Sarah said it sounds static.
I don't know. Is there anything you can do? Maybe put him back up in his chair. Oh,
That sounds static.
I wonder why.
It's still here, but.
Problems.
60 seconds.
I don't know why.
It has to be the internet, right? I mean, what else can it be?
It might be that microphone.
This microphone.
No.
Oh, this one? Let's see. It's fixed. Good work. Thank you, Sarah. I guess you didn't go out with your sister tonight. All right, let's see.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. We're going to be back live. I have to behave myself. Go ahead up, Canito.
Yeah.
Just pull him up there. There you go. Oop.
15. Five, four, three,
Welcome back to the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, mayor of Houndstown, USA, home to the happiest dogs on earth. Yeah, so Houndstown, USA, for those of you who don't know, is a fully interactive pet care facility where we take dogs of all shapes, sizes, ages to some extent, and we'll talk about that in a minute actually, and put them in groups, natural packs where dogs can be dogs. They can hump, jump, and dump without being screamed at, getting sprayed with water bottles, being hit over the head with newspapers, whatever people do in reaction to their dog's behavior. We don't do that at Houndstowns. So Houndstown, they come, they run, they have fun in a non-toxic environment, meaning we don't let humans at doggy daycare. Very few humans. Humans are not allowed. And that means a lot, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, Houndstown, USA, we have locations all over. We also have franchise opportunities all over the country. We're expanding pretty rapidly throughout the country, actually. We're opening up in Las Vegas soon, 3 locations. We're in Detroit, Pittsburgh. There's a whole you go to Houndstown, USA, and you can find out all our locations, and you can find out the benefits. What we do differently than some other pet care facilities is we understand the needs of the dog brain. We understand what dogs want and need. They live 18 inches off the ground, they don't stand erect, and they don't have thumbs. We know that. So once we know that, we know how then to interact with the dogs in our interactive environment. So it's a lot of fun. Let's talk quickly, while he's sitting here, our co-host, Canito. Canito, I think, you don't know how old, you know how old he is? Probably 2 or 3 years old. We meaning Jackie and I, we visited some shelters down in Puerto Rico. So for those of you who don't know, Puerto Rico has a bad, what do you call that, dog population, stray dogs. So yeah, Puerto Rico has a bad stray dog population. So about 3 or 4 years ago, Jackie and I started going down there. We volunteered to work at a shelter called El Faro Animale, I don't know, I don't speak Puerto Rican, but however, something like that. El Faro, which means, I think, the lighthouse. I don't know. A lot of the things you have to fact check what I say, but I do know this. They have a bad stray population. So there is a location in Puerto Rico, and there was in San Juan, or outside of San Juan, called Dead Dog Beach. So the name implies exactly what was happening. Dead Dog Beach, they didn't spay or neuter their dogs, and they just abandoned litters and litters of dogs on the beach. Obviously, there's no resources for them. There's no food. There's nobody. So it was a horrific, horrific situation. Over the years, it's gotten much better. But Canito here, he ended up in a shelter. So what the volunteers would do, they'd scatter the beach, take home how many dogs they could, puppies, litters, bring them to their shelters. And El Faro Animale took Canito. He was one of the dogs. And Jackie and I, I used to teach seminars to the staff down there, dog management seminars, and Jackie and Canito formed this really an amazing bond. I mean, like I said, everybody understands the power of dog and human relationships, but this dog just magically bonded with Jackie, not with me. The dog can't stand me. So, but that's all right. I respect that. I don't try to impose myself on Canito. You can see how he's looking at me. He's like, but he loves Jackie. So we shipped him up. He flew up from Puerto Rico, and he's been a wonderful pet ever since. Really kind of amazing. And after this next break, we're just going to take him for a walk around just to show you. So one of the things that we did, from the moment we had him, we never let him put tension on this little piece of rope that's around his neck. It's nothing. And you'll see how we can navigate through the airport with all kind of distractions. But one of the things Jackie wanted me to point out, he doesn't like to be in playgroup. Is that true? How is he when he goes to doggy daycare?
He's okay. He's all right for a little bit, and then he gets very selective on who he likes to play with.
Right. So he's kind of he's not a social butterfly.
Not really.
Right. And he's selective. And some dogs are very selective. And some dogs that's their personality. He'd rather stay at home, literally. He can lay on a bed and not move for the entire day. Yet, you can see him, he's not overweight. This is the amazing thing about nature and dogs. This dog, if he loses 2 pounds, he looks emaciated. So he gets obviously fed. Jackie makes him food, organic food. But and he's a couch potato. He literally is a couch potato, but this is his physical genetic stature. He's not overweight. So he turned out to be a cool dog, and I think the point I'm trying to make is, just like Squirt, all of our dogs, they're not our possessions. They're not possessions of ours. They're part of our life, and we have to respect their personalities. So when you're overly toxic and you project all your toxic stuff, and we're going to talk about toxic, there goes a nice little doggy. There's toxic people out there. We're going to talk about toxic people in the fourth segment. But our pet owners, by and large, are very loving people. But when you anthropomorphize animals, meaning a dog can be a family member, but it can never, ever be a human. It just can't. Their brains haven't evolved in 500,000 years. They're pretty much as close to wild dogs, except we domesticated them. But they haven't grown thumbs. They're not standing erect. Canito just found a girlfriend, maybe, so he just stepped away for a minute. So I guess my point is, here he is. We didn't spend thousands of dollars on him. Well, the airfare to get him up here wasn't cheap, but he came up, and he's been this wonderful companion. Perfect. He has his moments. When we first got him, he chewed the couch, but he's just a dog. So when we think of it that way, we got a little dog coming in here. When we talk about it's just a dog, just let them live their life. They have their own personalities regardless of their breed. At Houndstown, we don't discriminate against dogs. So we don't care if they're pit bulls, Rottweilers, poodles, Habaneses. We don't care what they are. They're all dogs. Their brains are actually identical, just like human brains. Human brains are identical, except for certain medical conditions or medical disorders. But there's no such thing as a Irish brain, a German brain. They're all the same. And if you just keep that basic premise in respect, if we respect humans like we should be respecting dogs, respecting boundaries, you'll never have a problem. Almost all dog accident and dog bites occur from when we encroach on animal space. Just let them be. We're constantly encroaching on, and it's never been worse. I get crazy about this our human population is growing. We're taking down our environment, and we're taking away wildlife. And we're all so social conscious and this and that. We love wildlife, but if there's too many deers, we want to kill them. So it's just a kind of a funny thing. We love trees unless they're blocking your swimming pool, and then we have no problem cutting it down. All right, I'm getting off track here. What was I'm talking about? What was my point? So Christmas puppies. We talked about puppies. Getting a puppy is like getting a
child.
Thank you. Tell people just what are the basic needs of a puppy.
You gotta feed it, house it, medical. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work having a dog.
And an expense. A lot of people
it's very
don't.
expensive.
It's just funny to me when a dog gets injured or gets kennel cough now. We have kennel cough going around. Kennel cough is a little upper respiratory. Now, obviously, if your child gets the flu, it's common cold. But we know that if your child gets cold, you take them to the vet. No, you don't take your child, you take them to the doctor. But, this is a responsibility. There's going to be medical expenses, and don't look for other people to make up for that. That's your responsibility. Get pet insurance. There's all kinds of things that you need to consider. I will tell you, your 8-year-old child who wants the dog for Christmas is not going to pick up dog crap in 2 or 3 months from now. It's going to be on to something else, a ferret, a hamster, whatever. So just think of that. Obviously it's nice to have a pet as a child, but it's going to be your responsibility. Always are dogs the adult's responsibility. They're never, ever a child's responsibility. They can't, it just doesn't work that way. You have to be the leader of the pack of all the members of your family, including your dogs and children. All right, so I don't know if I talked enough about that. We're going to talk about Remo, doggy daycare, and these psychotic lunatics on Yelp.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's really, when you think about it, when you break it down, see, I'm older than you, so you grew up in this really weird world of social media. I came from a place that you talked to people, expressed your differences in person. All right, we're going to take a break. Stay with us on Facebook. We're going to take a little walk around with our friend Canito here. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, yes, Mike is static. Thank you, Kelsey. All right, you gonna follow me around a little?
Yeah.
Let me take my little squeaky toy. Hey, neat. Where is he?
He's there.
Give me a bit. He
He
doesn't,
doesn't like
come
me.
here, babe. He doesn't like me, but I haven't done anything to this dog. So what we're gonna try and do, I'm gonna have this piece of rope on him. I'm gonna be relaxed. This is no great feats. He's not gonna jump through hoops of fire. But think of walking your dog in this very unpredictable and crazy environment. First thing, we have a glass window. You think he knows what a glass is? There's no glass in the wild. So he's gonna be on my left, and I'm walking. Wherever I go, he goes. If I go this way, there's a little doggy over there. So I'm nice and relaxed. There's no tension. When I stop, let's see what happens. He sits. I didn't ask him to sit. Look how I'm holding the leash. This is not a shock collar. It's not a prong collar. What the hell is that? Oh, when I walk, when I think of these distractions, there are sounds, there's odors on this floor. When I walk with my left foot, he'll walk with me, I think. I was right. So we go, follow me around here. We're going this way. Here comes some creature. This Zamboni is just a big creature. You think of all the distractions we have. The dog brain cannot process what this is. It's beeping, it's moving. Think of your dog at home and how they would react. There's another little puppy over here. We'll see if we can go by here. Notice that I am super relaxed. Hi, guys. Thank you. Oh, dog. So here we are. This is not through any training. This is from consistency, leadership, and structure. The three things we want. Leadership. Leadership isn't talking. Dogs don't talk, so there's no reason to talk to a dog. I'm actually got a $500,000 reward out for the first talking dog. Anybody has one, call me. I snap my fingers, then I love him. I love good behavior. This is the real reward. Step out my left foot. We're going to go around the airport. We'll do some agility. Not really. Let's see if we could go. We just move around. You see he's at my side. My hands are relaxed. Nice and relaxed. This is an agility course provided by the airport, free of charge. Nice and relaxed. Let's go this way. We can go fast. You're okay. I can turn. Notice I'm not talking to him. I'm not directing him. When I come close, I'm going to stop. He's going to sit. If I step out my right foot, he's going to stay. Watch this trick. Right foot, he doesn't move. Left foot, he walks with me. Distractions? Do we worry about distractions? See my hand? One finger with a piece of rope. No gadgets, no craziness. I'm not shoving dog treats down his throat. I'm going to step out with my left, and I'm going to go get my toy. Hello. Yeah. 3 minutes. All right. We're going to head back in. This is just a simple demonstration. This is nothing special. This is not, doesn't require work. It's so easy, most people can't do it. So easy, most people. You said you can't do it?
No, she runs my life.
You hear that? Let's get a little interview here.
Yeah, she runs my life.
Okay, what's your dog's name?
Coco.
Coco. How old?
1.
1-year-old Coco. That means she's a teenager. This lovely lady said the dog runs her life. So this is what our topic of our show
Tail is
is.
wagging the dog.
What's that?
Tail is wagging.
Tail is wagging the dog. Where are you guys off to? Any place exciting?
Picking up my mom.
Oh, okay, picking up mom. All right, well, nice chatting.
You too.
All right, good luck.
You have a good dog.
All right, let's get in here and get on TV. Put that back. Jesus, can you go? Calm down.
Oh my god.
All right, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like out there. We good?
Yeah.
What is it? I hope, Jackie, you're watching. You should be very proud of your little Canito.
60 seconds.
Should have those people come in. All right, let's see now. Look at him, he's so funny.
Seconds.
Maybe on the 2-minute break, we'll see if those people want to come in. We'll give them free daycare or something.
Yeah.
Let's see. He should be all right with them.
That'll be fine. Stay up here?
All right, here we go. And 3, 2.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, Mayor of Houndstown, USA, home to the happiest dogs on earth. Houndstown is a fully interactive pet care facility. Since our inception, we've taken care of over 1.5 million dogs. Isn't that kind of incredible? We've been doing this now for over 20 years. 1.5 million dogs. We're growing. I don't know what's happening in the world. The human population is growing. The dog population is growing. People are getting crazier. So yeah, we were just out. For those of you who are on Facebook, we spent 5 or 6 or 7 minutes walking our friend Canito around the airport. And as you saw, we're navigating through the airport very nicely. This was not difficult to achieve. We're just consistent with with how we manage dogs. Consistency, leadership. There's something else. Consistency, leadership, structure. And we met some people outside, nice couple. They have a 1-year-old dog. The woman said, the dog runs our lives. It's a 1-year-old. It's kind of funny. It segues into what we're talking about. It's a 1-year-old dog they probably got a year ago, maybe less. But the woman said he actually is running our lives. So that kind of highlights our point. What else are we talking about? So Jackie Bondan, so Canito did very well. You should be very proud of him. And here he is. He's a rescue dog. He's a mutation, a mutt of God knows what. I have no idea what his genetic makeup is, but he's a wonderful dog. And it's very simple to manage, maintain. He's very social. Okay, what else we want to talk about? Yelp. All right. So here's my problem with this. So, if you listen to the show at all, there's a couple of things I have really, what's the word? Not anger. Strong feelings. So one of the things is this notion, these emotional support animals. Now, I want to always be clear. I'm not taking that away from anybody who truly benefits from an animal. Usually it's young children with autism. They really benefit from being around animals. They have kind of a miraculous effect on them, and that's proven scientifically, obviously. So dogs do have a profound impact on humans. However, there's a large population of human beings that, I call Southwest Airlines Noah's Ark, because it's become Noah's Ark. I go on there, I'm sitting next to, it's really unbelievable. And it's unregulated, meaning that anybody, you can take write a check for $150 today, and they'll send you a vest and stickers that says your dog is an emotional support animal, and that gives you the right to invade my privacy and invade my space with your dog. I love dogs probably more than anybody in the world, but not necessarily when I'm flying to Florida or on an 8-hour flight. So, and talk about toxic. When you stuff your little dog in a bag and kick him under the front seat of the plane and keep pushing his head down, I can assure you the dog is more nervous than you are. So if you have a fear of flying, drink some scotch, take a Xanax, do something like that. Don't put a poor dog, don't project your fear onto the dog. So that's one thing that always annoys the living hell out of me. And again, it's no different. These privileged, entitled people is really what my problem with. Obviously not people with disabilities. The same thing as handicap parking. Most people are taking handicap parking away from people that really need it. Now, those are the things that just kind of annoying to me. How do I know that? Because when I go to the supermarket and somebody parks in a handicap parking spot and they chase me down for a shopping cart, or they elbow me to get in line somewhere, I think that's all right. Let me get off that topic.
Yeah,
You think I should? Outgrowing daycare. So Yelp reviews. So here we have this social media. So every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, somebody without merit, baseless, you can go on any social media site and just make slanderous comments, make things up. Nothing has to be based on any fact. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's cowardly. We have had, over the many, many years we've been in business, we've had good, by and large, obviously I welcome anybody to go to our site. You're going to see, by and large, a tremendous amount of 5-star reviews, which of course we like. And I wouldn't mind people objecting to something if it was legitimate. So the first thing you should do if you're unhappy with service, if you go to a restaurant and you don't like the food, tell the owner so they can fix it. If you go to a hotel, you don't like the service, tell the manager and see what they do. But don't make up slanderous remarks based on nothing. Just, because it not only does it hurt a business, a small business, it all hurts the morale of the people that work there. My staff, Danielle, they work so hard and they love the dog so much. And when we get some lunatic that goes on our social media and says something about my staff or how we operate our business, it's absolute. And when it's baseless, if it was at all truthful, I have conversations with customers all the time, every day, all the time, if they have the courage and confidence to talk to me. But how do you go home, drink a bottle of wine, go on social media and start making up facts because you are something, I really believe it's a mental illness. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Because it defies logic. So if you're unhappy, you call the owner, email the owner, say, I had a terrible experience. My dog smelled when I picked him up the other day. We, of course, would explain that dogs do smell. Right? They're dogs. So if they're running around humping, jumping, and dumping, as we like to describe, and the saliva is flying, and it's raining out, they may be a little odorous when they go home. I get it.
It means they had a good time.
Right. But to describe these things as horrific, or I don't know, the words, the adjectives that people use, they should go into show business and write science fiction. So here's the thing. That's it. It just came to me. Those of you folks that drink wine and go on social media, Yelp, turn your talents into becoming science fiction writers. At least you'll get paid for that. So right now you're just destroying people's businesses. And it's not just, I'm very proud. I have no problem. Houndstown, I welcome everybody to go look at our reviews. But for those science fiction writers out there, put your talents to something good. Write fiction, because that's what you're doing. And if it's not fiction, call me up ever and explain. And you owe it to the business owners, whether it's restaurants, no matter what it is. You owe it to them. And if you're not confident and courageous enough to do it, don't slam them on social media. And I'll say that about my competitors. I look at my competitors and they get bad reviews, and I know that it's not true. I know the people that are writing them as lunatics. Period. All right. Is that enough of that?
I think that's enough.
All right. So how many more segments do we have?
One more after this.
Jackie, is that enough of that or what? Because you know that it's really annoying to small business people. Shout out to Pete and Kristen. All we can hear on Facebook is you breathing. All right. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry, Jackie. All right. So yeah, that annoys me. The Yelp thing, the social media, because there are legitimate ways, and I would assume that if you make a decent case, and if you try to get a hold of the owner and they don't get back to you, or you do email them and they don't get back to you, then of course you have every right to go on to social media.
That's understandable.
That's understandable. Thank you, Danielle. And if that's part of your story, that's great. But you should see the responses. Not only look at what people say, what the small business owners reply, because that's when you know how good a business is. And again, the business owner's explanation will probably tell you a more accurate depiction of the real events that took place. So do that. So truth of the matter is, I don't even know if anybody really pays attention to social media, Yelp review. I guess they do to some
People
degree.
do. A lot of people look at reviews before they go to a business.
Right. But I mean, if you have like 10 5-star reviews and one
Yeah.
and it makes no sense. It actually screams psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
It's got neon lights on the reviews. Psychosis. Then you should be able to determine that. But yeah, if a business has 20 reviews and they're all consistently the same. But you know, business owners should strive hard. We do. We strive hard to get good reviews,
Yeah.
and we strive hard to provide a great service. And when somebody slams us or any one of our franchisees, we're a big family here. And you know, we don't just take it lying down. We don't, because it's not fair. And social media has become very toxic in all of our lives. You know, people
It's a
don't
very toxic place.
toxic, right? And that's coming from a young person. So for me, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. That people don't interact with humans anymore. You know. So it's crazy. All right, I got that out of my system. We're going to take a break. We talked about Yelp reviews, clearly. And if you're one of those people, you know who you are. If you're writing a bad review about a restaurant you just went to today, think about, did you talk to the owner first? We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right. Is our static problem better?
I'm gonna look right now. It's fine.
It's fine, Jackie. All right, Thanksgiving. All right, we can talk about Remo a little.
Are they talking? Pete said Big Lou is one of the coolest dudes of Houndstown, Metro Detroit. Remember Big Lou?
Yeah, I wish we had that video. Let's talk about it.
I sent it, I thought.
Yeah, but I don't think Jackie ever did anything with it. Let's talk about Big Lou. What'd she say?
She's like, oh, there's a radio station here.
Mamma mia. So we got Charlie. Manager Corinne.
All right, 30 seconds.
Oh,
Canito stinks.
stinks?
We got gas.
Jackie, they say Canito
We
stinks.
got gas.
She's farting.
10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, Mayor of Houndstown, USA. This is our final segment, so we're going to bring it all together. I got a little sidetracked. I generally do. My mind wanders. But you got to understand, we're sitting in a bubble at the airport, literally a bubble. It's a glass bubble. We have our rescue dog, Canito, who you can't see. He's under the table. But all of that wonderful organic food that Jackie makes for him and prepares every night, he's now passing it in the form of gas in this bubble, this unventilated bubble. So excuse us if we turn a couple of, look, this poor kid is turning pale here because it is horrible odor in here. But anyway, Canito doesn't have that. And isn't this the wonderful thing? He couldn't care less. He's sleeping there, he's farting away, no problems. He doesn't have to say excuse me. Oh, all right. So at least I think it's Canito. I'm assuming, but there's only three of us, and I know it's not me. So, all right, let's think here. So, what were we just talking about? Let's talk a little bit about Remo. So, Remo is a dog down in South Jersey, our Atlantic City location. And now Remo, he's a rescue dog. The folks, really nice folks, they rescued him when he was about a year old. But he was really unsocialized with other dogs, and he was really pretty leash aggressive and so forth. And we managed to manage him for about a year or so. But lately, he's growing out of doggy daycare. And this is how I began the segment, or the show, by saying, how do dogs grow out? Not physically grow out, but psychologically. So a dog 3, 4, 5 years old, they're now fully mature dogs. They may look the same. So you could have two chocolate labs. One is 4 years old and one is 1 year old. They could look exactly the same, like twins, but they're completely different psychologically. So it's like taking an elderly person and putting him in an elementary school and ask him to go play. Obviously, that wouldn't work. So Remo grew out of it, and we always have to have these, unfortunate conversations. To me, they're not unfortunate because the dog that's not doing well at doggy daycare is telling us that doesn't enjoy his experience there. So you wouldn't keep a child in elementary school that didn't necessarily really hated to be there. I guess you would. They did me, but yeah, they kind of have to. All right, that was another bad analogy. But the point of the matter is Remo now, he's better, just like Canito. These dogs are couch potatoes. They enjoy laying around. They don't need to run marathons. They don't need to go mountain climbing with you kooks. They don't need to go parachute jumping. They just want to be dogs. Dogs sleep, mature dogs sleep 12 to 14 hours a day. They sleep. They're not doing all the crazy things that humans do. And that's one of the different things you have to understand about dogs. They lie around most of the time. Obviously, young puppies need more exercise than, so a year-old dog, which we would call teenagers, they're in their teenage years, of course they need more exercise, and that's why doggy daycare is fantastic. So Remo, he outgrew doggy daycare. Many dogs do, so it's not unusual for us, right?
It's very common, yeah.
It's common. And not only that, they start developing, physically, they're not, maybe have hip dysplasia as they get older. When they get to be 5, 6, 7 years old, they don't want to be in doggy daycare. And this is where pet sitters come in very handy. So you have to understand the individual personality of your dog. Just talk about Big Lou. Tell everybody about Big Lou in Detroit.
Oh, Big Lou is great. He's very nervous, I guess I would say, when he first came in. But once he's from Detroit, the Detroit
right.
location.
Big.
He's a big boxer, and when he first came in for the temperament evaluation, he was barking, he was howling. He was very nervous to be there, but once he warmed up, we got him in the back, we were able to get him in the play group. He really opened up, and he seemed to enjoy being with the dogs, like, a lot more than with humans, basically.
Right. Yeah, so, and he was a dog that you could misinterpret, because when he came in, and I'm going to ask our brand director, Corey Kath Packer, to make a video, because we have a video of Big Lou coming in.
Video of him coming in the building.
And now he's a regular. So this was only a week ago. And in most pet care facilities, there's no doubt in my mind, would not have accepted this dog. He was a big, what could be described as a bully breed. He was very skittish around men particularly. And
Very vocal.
Very vocal. Exactly. So, and he was intimidating. If you didn't know better, you would not take him. We took him, and Pete, our good friend Pete out in Detroit, just texted us that he's a regular there now, and he's living his best life. He comes pretty much regularly. So dogs like that they're the other side to certain dogs like Remo.
They really benefit from.
They benefit
being
from the
with other
pack.
dogs, yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Actually, I can't think of the name of the little dog down in Pittsburgh. Bugsy?
Bugsy, yeah.
Bugsy. So here's this little tiny dog, Bugsy, who is petrified and genetically, I doubt she was beaten. Most of these things that we see in dogs are genetics. It's passed on from their parents. So we very rarely get a chance to see the parents of rescue dogs, right? We don't get a chance to see it, but if you did, they were just bad breeding process. So they're genetically inferior, and therefore. So anyway, Bugsy now lives a perfect dog's life.
They posted a video of her on the Pittsburgh Facebook page, and she was running around with the other dogs, like completely out of the shell.
Right. So that's pretty amazing. These are the heartwarming stories, and we are going to put together a compilation of videos of these kind of before and after, because I think it's important. It's really, to me, that's what this is all about, taking dogs that people they're completely misunderstood. And I'm not a particular fan of any breed of dogs. So it's not, people think because I was in law enforcement I love German Shepherds or this or that. I find something unique and special in every dog. Even the most tiniest, shy little dogs, there's something special about their personalities that are unique. And when we or I can connect to their brain, there's nothing more satisfying to me, really. So we're going to work on that. We're going to work on a video. What else do I want to tell people? We'll talk about Christmas next episode. We'll be live again. I hate to tell you, but we're going to be live again next Monday. And then Corey Cathpacker and Corinne are our operations manager. We're going to start doing a podcast soon in connection with this. So it's going to be fun. Let's see. We talked about Yelp. We talked about Charlie. You want a dog?
Charlie.
We have this one.
So I would take him if I didn't have 3 of my own.
Right. She's got 3. So Charlie is up for adoption. 3-year-old cockapoo. Really interesting. Get a hold of us on Facebook or wherever if you're interested. Danielle's going to post pictures. Thanksgiving. The dogs they react to changes in their environment. So when your drunken uncle comes over for Thanksgiving and you're sitting around talking politics, and as the night goes on, you're drinking and you're dropping your turkey on the floor and there's little kids running around. It is literally a recipe for disaster. Somewhere, sadly, somebody is going to mismanage their dog on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and something is going to happen that you're going to be surprised by. But the warning signs are there right now. Dogs don't understand, unless they're completely social. They don't like. Children are the number one victims of dog bites. 10-year-old children, statistically, because they're lower to the ground, they're more animated, they're running around, they're screaming, they're dropping food. They're the number one victims of dog bites. It's going to happen. I'll get the call on Monday about it, and it's going to be sorrowful. So just use your common sense. If you err on the side of safety, bring the dog to a houndstown. Put the dog in his crate in his room. Give him some turkey. Let him chill out. Don't try to involve him in your crazy human festivities. And next week we will talk about Christmas and how ridiculous, from a dog's perspective, what Christmas is. We're putting trees are growing in the damn dog's living room. I mean, right? The dog goes to bed. Santa Claus is coming down the chimney. It's a mess. All right, Danielle, I think we did pretty good. We said hello to our friends, Tom and Joan Sullivan. I always got to give them a shout out. I need the name of the Hotel Sullivan where that event is taking place. Kennel cough, we'll talk about that. This is kennel cough season, folks. There's nothing we can do about it. It's not a dirty, insidious disease. It's just a cold like your kids in school get. We can't close down the schools. We don't panic. We just treat it and take normal safety precautions. All right, that's it. Anything else? Tell people so they can how do they find this show? Just on...
They could go on Houndstown Radio. We do the live feed there, and then on LI News Radio.
LI News Radio, and they can look at past shows on...
Yeah, on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, Houndstown Radio. Thank you, everybody. Have a good Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next Monday. We'll talk about Christmas. All right, not bad. All right, what do you want to do? We want to go out the same way or